Hello and welcome to Weekly Yoga Flow. This is the first in many sessions that will be posted weekly for you to enjoy and practice at home or on the road or wherever you might be. And today we'll just start out with a basic yoga flow-ish. Really just to get into feet, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and we're going to start laying down and we're going to move our way up to standing poses, and then we're going to come back down again onto our backs. And it's going to be just nice, comfortable poses that most of you will recognize. So if you're new to yoga and you clicked on this because it says basic, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And we are going to use 2 blocks and 1 strap for today's session. So if you don't have that, just gather, and if you don't have the yoga version of it, it goes well with a scarf, it goes well with books or anything that can raise your hands if you so needed to. Maybe you don't need that. We'll take a comfortable seat and take a few moments to sit and anchor in together. Taking our hands onto the knees, and then we're going to pull the elbows in so they're underneath the shoulders, and flip the palms facing up and close our eyes for a moment and pull the belly button in and drop the shoulders away from the ears, and we turn the palms up so that we can have a possibility of downloads, new energies, something incoming traffic for us that can reach us through the Hasta Bandha, through our palms, through the energy field that is into the center of the palms that goes straight in through the arms to the heart. We'll take a few breaths into that. If we have any intentions that we like to bring in for our practice, we'll also breathe into that. Whatever it might be, whatever brought us here today. It's a big step to put everything aside and come to your practice. And gently bring the hands together in front of the heart. If you'd like to join me for an Om, we'll take a nice, comfortable inhale and exhale together with an Om. Join our voices, join our energies, and start our physical practice. Take a good, nice, comfortable inhale. And exhale, release the hands. Open the palms to the side and take your right arm up towards the sky, just starting stretching in towards the side body. A nice, gentle right side of the waist. Sometimes we'll go like all over, we start leaning over. But see if you can keep your sit bones down and just go to a comfortable stretch. Sit bones down, right side body lengthen, shoulder blades down onto the back. And then gently inhale, exhale, and come to the second side. Take the left arm up, just a nice gentle stretch in towards the side of the waist. And gently coming over to this first side again, and take maybe your hand a little bit further out. You might press against, and sit bones might anchor down a little bit more. And maybe there's an opportunity to take that right arm over the ear. Maybe taking the gaze up towards the sky. And then gently bring it all the way up. And second side, take your right hand maybe out a little bit further than the first time around. And then the left arm up and perhaps up and over the ear. Maybe the gaze comes underneath the upper arm. And gently take it all the way back to the center. And fingertips down, drop your left ear to the left shoulder, stretch into your right neck shoulder area. And gently switch it up and over to the second side. Take your right ear towards your right shoulder and stretch into your left neck and shoulder area. And gently bring it all the way up towards upright position, and we're just going to take the arms all the way up and lengthen from the shoulders to the wrists and out the fingers and rooting down into the seat, nice and strong. And from here, take your hands together, interlace, roll the palms up towards the sky and get in towards the triceps, underarm area as well. Side body long, one more breath, and then exhale, take it all the way back down. And we're going to meet onto our backs and take our strap with us. Stretching the legs out, taking your strap and or your scarf, whatever you might have, and finding it into the center of the foot. So the middle of the strap is in the middle of the foot. And we'll take the hands and feed them all the way over the head, just like we had our arms when we were sitting. Taking our arms over the head and putting a comfortable amount of pressure onto your strap and your hands for your hamstring to stretch on your right side, the hamstring group on the back side of the right leg. And maybe you stretch your left leg out and get front of the leg and back of the leg. Active stretching, pull the ribs in, extend that legs opposite direction, full body lengthening. Just kind of a reset for the legs. Spreading your toes, pulling the floating ribs in. Take another couple of breaths right here. And release the arms and bend your left leg. Take your left foot up into the strap and put your right foot flat down. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of reevaluate if we are good to go, maybe with the same amount of pressure onto the second side as we had on the first side. Go and see how it feels into hamstring layers, and then stretch your right leg out and get into your hip flexors on the right side, hamstring group onto the left side. And hands can be shoulder width apart up here, and you're holding on to the strap, getting a full back of the leg stretch. And floating ribs pulls towards the hips and binds the upper body together with the lower body at the same time. Give ourselves another few breaths right here. And then gently bend your right foot. Take your hands up and take the strap away. Left foot comes down. You can put the strap to the side. We will not use it again. And from here, take your right ankle over your left knee and take your hands around your hamstrings on your left side. Figure 4, hip opening, kind of getting ready for side angles by taking a figure 4 or supine sword pose. You can have your hands underneath your hamstrings. And you can also, for some of you that have the mobility and feel like you need and are craving hands below the knee, take the hands below the knee, and the right hip will respond differently, and see what works the best for you. We'll stay one more breath here. And then take your left foot down, hook your right over your left, take your arms out to the side and come to supine twist. Legs over to the left side. Just kind of checking into the whole lower body, into the spine, into the iliac crest, into the whole lower back area, into shoulders. And then undo the legs and bring your feet back onto the floor. Take your left ankle over your right, thread your hands around your right hamstring group, and come back to your figure 4 on the second side. Give yourself a few breaths right here. And again, maybe this is comfortable right here with hands underneath the hamstrings. If your body is craving a different stretch, then you can take your hands below the knee. And we're just going to breathe into it. Give ourselves a few breaths right here. And then put your right foot down. Take your left knee over your right, arms out to the side, and drop your legs to the right side. Supine twist, knee over knee. So the ankles are free, they don't have to cross over. We're totally freed up in the ankles. The knees are stacked, but again, if the knees don't want to be on top or interlaced like this, then you can simply just put one knee next to the other knee and tip your knees over to the side as well. And one more breath here, and undo the legs, and then we'll take our legs back up to the center, bring the knees into the chest, and ground the femurs, sacrum down, shoulder blades down, make gentle circles onto your sacrum, 3 laps one way, loosening up anything that might be tight, and then we'll do 3 laps the other way around. Knee stays together, legs are active, belly is active, really everything is active. And then from here you can roll to the side and come up, or you can take your hands underneath the knees and make your way up and cross at the ankles and come to all fours, please. So we're going to have the wrists and the shoulders stacked above and below each other, and the knees underneath the hips. Arch the spine up to the sky. Press the hands and the knees and tuck the toes down. Yeah, we are pressing down, but we're at the same time lifting up, getting that nice rooting and rising all at the same time. Vacuums up the belly, expand the back body, and then hollow. Come all the way into a concave spine, and then exhale, pushing the back out. And then we'll pull the upper arm bones back into the shoulder sockets, and then we'll bring it back up, pull the belly all the way in. One more time, exhale, taking it all the way back down, and then inhale, spine to sky. And then from here, come to neutral spine, and we'll do some shoulder push-ups, which means the upper arm bones comes into the shoulder socket, and then we'll push it back out with the core, and then bring it in, loosening up the shoulders. So if you have a stiff upper back, sometimes this can feel really good, or if you have some kinks that needs to be worked out between the shoulder blades, this can feel really nice. Shoulder push-ups, my favorites. I'm not a fan of real push-ups, but I know they're very good, and we should be doing them too. But today, we're going to stick with shoulder push-ups. So we'll do one more right here. You might even feel it all the way down to the lower back, and really arching into that spine. And then come to neutral spine. Take your knees to the back, so there's a slight tug into that lower belly, and then tuck the toes and make your way to downward facing dog. Now the fingertips are clawing, the knuckles, the knuckle number 1 is down, and pedal into your right heel, into your left heel. If you feel like all weight is going into your arms and hands now, then lift it up and away from your arms and your hands so that it goes up the side body, and then it goes down to the back of the legs. Come over to your left heel and give yourself a nice big stretch into your left heel. And on the right heel, bend your left knee. And the left heel, bend your right knee. And the right knee, right heel down, ankle stretching. And the left side. Excellent. And then we'll come all the way down onto the belly for shoulder stretch. Take your left arm out to the side and come over onto your left shoulder and stack your feet one on top of the other. You can put your head down. You can have a pillow under your head if needed. We'll just get a nice, juicy shoulder stretch right here. And gently coming all the way back and over to the second side. Coming with your right arm out to the side and roll over onto your right shoulder. Stack your feet, come down with the right side of the head. Support yourself with your left hand, stretching to the right inner shoulder. Stretch your legs evenly, one on top of the other. We'll stay another breath here. And then gently come on to the belly and make your way over onto child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Stretch your arms actively forward. round the femurs. Push the palms, lift the upper arm bones, make your way to tabletop, and then come to downward facing dog, please. We're going to step the right foot between the hands, turn the left foot flat, and take your hands to the inside, over to the side for 2-hand supported side angle. Now, if that's too far down for the hands, find your block or anything that you have at home that you can use for support and lifting the arms a little bit higher up to not push too far in towards the hips. Then find whatever you need for extra support, and we'll stay here for another breath and enjoy. And then gently move your hands to the inside and step back to downward facing dog. Step your left foot between the hands and take your right foot flat. Take the block with you if you're using your block. Hands either on the floor or on the block. Squeeze the inner edges of the feet towards each other. Press your hands down and lift the upper arm bones up. Front knee over the ankle. Tone into the adductors. Create some nice space for legs, for hips, for belly, for side body. We'll stay one more breath here, and then we'll take the hands to each side of the foot, flip your back, toes down, heel up, and come to your downward facing dog, please. Step your right foot between your hands and come to feet wide apart, which is toes slightly tucked in and heels slightly tucked out. Get yourself comfortable. And from here, we are going to take the hands all the way forward for a hinge version with our arms stretched out and our feet are pulling back. And we're pulling the inner edges of the feet towards the midline, and the hips and the ankles are stacked, and we're opening up in towards the back of the legs. Feet wide apart. One more breath right here. And then gently hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to come over to the right side. Turn your right toe slightly out and come down with your right elbow in towards your right knee. For Skandasana, giving ourselves a nice, comfortable, juicy breath right here. And then taking ourselves over towards the right side. Take your left knee down onto the floor. Sweep the right arm up for a crescent twisty lunge. Left hand down, right arm up, gaze comes up. Twist and turn into the belly. Twist and turn into the spine, into the hips. Exhale, release hands down to the mat and come back to Skandasana with your right knee bent and your right elbow in towards your right knee, and then we'll move over towards the second side with our left elbow in towards the knee area and left knee, and the hands are simply just staying down, and we're enjoying a nice adductor stretch onto the right side, hip opening onto the left. Feet down, engaging the legs all that we can. One more breath, and then hands over to the left side and stepping your right knee down. Right hand stays down and left arm comes up towards the sky. Bring your shoulder blades down on your back. Lift your heart, your chest, your shoulders. Stretch in a way that feels really nice and juicy for you. And then exhale, bring it all the way back down. Hands to the floor. Come with your left elbow in towards your left knee. One more time, Skandasana, and then make your way up into feet wide apart. This time, bring your block back in. We'll put it straight down from our forehead down into the center of the feet, and take our hands down, lift up and straighten and lengthen the spine and lengthen in towards our hamstrings, and then take the top of the head towards your block. You can use the block in any direction that works for you. And heel of the hands align with the heel of the feet. Prasarita Padottanasana, getting a nice full leg stretch. Few more breaths right here. Pushing the feet down, all four corners of the feet. and lengthening the legs, lifting your sacrum, lower back is lower than the sacrum and the spine is free and clear. One more breath, and then make your way with straight arms. Take your block to the side, take your hands to your hips, strong legs, come to standing, bend into your knees and take a step into the center. We don't even have to jump or anything, we'll just take a step to the center. Release the hands, inhale, take the arms all the way up, take your right wrist over to the left side. It should feel nice and comfortable having the legs hugging together after opening the layers on the side and adductors. And gently come up and over second side. We're going to move into the front and the back of the legs and then move our way into the spine. And then gently come all the way back up, hands all the way down, and let's step to the front of the mat and take our hands to the side. Feet can be together or hip widths apart. Inhale, take your arms up to the sky. And exhale, hinge and fold, bend into your knees, hands to mat. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, place your hands, step back to plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Holding our plank for 3 breaths. Pulling the tailbone down towards the heels. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. We're coming up high up on the toes. Knuckles are down. Ribs are hugging in. Intercostal layers are binding us together. And we'll stay 1 more breath. And then exhale, take your knees down and make your way all the way down. Coming on to the forearms for a forearm cobra. Lifting the belly, lifting the heart and the chest. Shoulder blades down on the back and stretching the belly. Stretching the hips, stretching the quads, getting some nice pressure on them. And stretching your legs back. And just creating lots of space for the spine, front and back and side. Exhale, bring it back down, hands by the shoulders. Sit back, child's pose, please. Big toes together, knees apart. And gently make your way up to tabletop. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Step your right foot in between the hands. Take your left knee down. Knee and ankle are stacked above and below each other today, and we're hug into the midline and staying nice and even. Sometimes it gets a little windy. Arms forward, pull the upper arm bones in, and then from there take your arms up for a nice, comfortable, therapeutic quad and hip flexor stretch onto the left side. Angiasana. Keeping it nice and basic. This is even like more therapeutic for the hip flexors because it really plugs it in than coming deeper forward into the hips. So we'll just stay right here today and enjoy a nice deep hip flexor. Tailbone down, belly button is lifting in. 1 more breath and then exhale, take it all the way down. Step it back, downward facing dog. Feet together, step your left foot between the hands, take your right knee down, left knee, left ankle is stacked, take your arms forward, pull the upper arm bones in and arms up to the sky. We're getting a nice therapeutic hip flexor quad stretch on the right side by pulling the tailbone down and engaging more of a stretch in towards the front of the right thigh. Lift the belly button in, lift the side body long. Give ourselves a few more breaths right here. Just kind of bathing in our own energy that's getting clearer and clearer with each pose. 1 more breath and then exhale. Take your hands down and step it back to your downward facing dog. Make your way over to plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Strong front side of the body. We hold for 3 breaths right here. Building strength. Building front support and building that core support for the spine, for the organs, and just really for our whole structure. Binding us together, yoga. 1 more breath and then take the knees down, come all the way down onto the belly, come to your forearms with your elbows and shoulders stacked. You can gently pull yourself forward, palms are flat, lift the heart, the chest, take the ears back, stretching belly, spine, hips, and then exhale, bring it back down onto the belly, elbows to the side, hands by the shoulders, child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. One more breath. Gently come to tabletop, come to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Heels can be off or heels can be onto the floor. Do your best to lift up and away from the palms so that you feel nice and tall and bright in your whole shoulder and body area. Step your right foot between the hands. Come up high onto your back toes. Take your hands to your quad on your right side and stay upright. Come into your right hip flexor, quad, high crescent lunge, preparatory for warrior poses. Take your bicep towards your ears, sink down and rise up all at the same time. So we're pulling shoulder blades down and we are lifting the arms up. So it's happening at the very same time. Lift the belly button in, secure the front side. That front support is even right here from the plank pose. We'll stay one more breath and then exhale, take it all the way down. Step it back, downward facing dog. Take your right and your left heel down, move about. Step your left foot between your hands. Come up high onto your right toes. Find your hands to your left quad and from there, tailbone down, belly button lifts in to support us. And then from there, arms can come all the way up to the sky if it works. If not, we can have the hands on the thighs. Raise the side body long, but at the same time, plug your upper arm bones in, much like those little shoulder push-ups we did. We just are making sure that we have our hips and our shoulders plugged in. High crescent lunge, building strength, determination, clearing and cleaning our layers by hugging the skin to muscle and muscle to bone. One more breath and then exhale. Take your hands to the floor and step it back, downward facing dog. Come to your plank pose and we hold our plank, last one. Claw the fingertips, pull the belly button in. Use some nice strong muscle energy, hugging all the way in to kind of blast the layers, to find all the nook and crannies that is asking to be with us in yoga practice, and we'll just invite them in. One more breath, and then take the knees to the floor, come all the way down. Another forearm cobra with your elbows under your shoulders, with your palms facing down. Lift your heart, your chest, and stretch your legs back. Create lots of space for the spine. Breathe in, softening and releasing all at the same time. And then exhale, take your elbows out, come to the belly, hands by the shoulders. Lift your upper arm bones, child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. Move from the core, move from your belly button. From child's pose to tabletop. Claw the fingertips, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, please. From here, we're gonna just kind of maybe come to the knees, all of us, and gather our blocks for our leg stretchers for pyramid pose. So maybe we need a block for each side. Maybe we are good with no blocks. You choose. I'm going to take the blocks down sideways so that they are in the lower, kind of thicker area, and tuck the toes from there and come to down dog with your hands on the blocks. Lift the upper arm bones, use your front support, step your right foot between the hands and come with your left foot in slightly and come to your Uttanasana, pyramid pose. Pull your right hip back and your left hip forward. And this should be a nice stretch in towards your left calf, into the right hamstring layers, and we'll hang out right here. Lengthen your spine. Take your hands to the block on your right side. So both hands are onto the right side, hanging out on the block. any level of the block that's comfortable for you. Pushing through all the four corners of the feet. From here, left hand stays down, right hand comes to your hip, to your sacrum, and maybe this is plenty. Maybe this is where we feel comfortable. Maybe the left hand goes onto the block on the inside of the right foot. You choose what works the best. Right arm can come up to the sky for Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Gaze can stay down or gaze can come up to the sky. Tone and tune the spine. And exhale, take the gaze down, take the hand back down, hands on the block, step back, downward facing dog. Press the palms, lift the upper arm bones, take a breath into the spine where we just twisted. Step your left foot between the hands, move your right foot in so that you can have your whole right foot flat on the floor. The right heel is slightly turned in, toes are slightly turned out. The left hip is going to want to come forward, so pull it back so your hips and your shoulders are stacked. Lengthen your spine, press into the four corners of the feet, and have a great time into the back of the legs, especially onto your front leg. From here, hands come to the block on your left side, and you can press into the block, you can arch the spine, and get that nice back body expansion, and twisting and turning. Pressing palms down. Getting ready for a little deeper twist. If that speaks to you, if not, stay here. Your right hand stays on that block on the left side. Take your left hand to your sacrum and twist and turn. From there, take your left arm up towards the sky. Parivrtta Trikonasana. Now your gaze can be down, or the gaze might want to come up and challenge our balance, our focus. One more breath, and then exhale, take the gaze down, take the hand down, hands on each block, step it back, downward facing dog. Press the palms, lift the upper arm bones, make your feet, walk them over to the hands, ask them to walk to the hands, and then hands around the elbows. And hinge and fold, ragdoll. If it doesn't feel good to have all that pressure on the spine or hamstrings, then we put the hands on the blocks. We can even turn the blocks the opposite direction. They can come any direction here, whatever feels like you're having a great stretch in towards the back body. I'm going to take my hands around the elbows, top of the head towards the floor. One more breath here. Exhale, release the hands. Hands to floor, step it back, downward facing dog. This time we'll come to plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. You can always put the knees down. At any time when we come to plank pose, we're going to take the knees down. We're not even holding for 3 breaths. We're just browsing through plank. Come down onto the belly. Take your fingers wide. Maybe your thumb stays onto the mat. And then we're going to stretch your legs back. You can widen your feet. Second toe to the back. Lift up to your cobra. Shoulder blades down. Maybe it's a comfortable cobra. Maybe you feel more comfortable onto your forearms, then you can come down on your forearms. Maybe you lift up. There's a slight bend into the elbows, so there can be some good freedom into shoulders and clearance in the neck and upper body. Pull your legs back. Create lots of space for the lower back by lifting up and away. And then exhale, bring it back down. Hands by shoulders, push back, child's pose, please. Big toes together, knees apart. From here, we'll take a stretch in child's pose with your left hand over to the left side and the right hand over to the left side. And we're still down in child's pose and putting the side of the right head onto the upper arm. Stretching into the entire right side of the waist, lower back. And then gently come to the front and switch to the second side. Take your right arm to the right side, left arm to the right side, and then take your left side of your head, ear, onto that left arm. And come into a side body stretch on your left lower back area. One more breath, and then gently make your way back to the center. Come to all fours, tuck the toes, knees underneath the hips, arch the spine, vacuum suck the belly, release the head down. Exhale, come into neutral spine, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your right foot between the hands, stay low and come over onto feet wide apart. We were here earlier. Take your hands to your hips, elbows to sky, and let's come to standing and make ourselves comfortable, turning our arms out to the side and our right heel turns in and the right toes turns out. I'm going to widen just a little bit more because we're moving into Warrior Two, and I like to have my right knee over the ankle-ish. It doesn't have to be, it can be here, wherever you feel comfortable. But for now, take it to where you're comfortable. Take your Warrior Two pose. Super powerful. Four corners of the feet on both feet are anchoring down, even if it's just with the breath or with the thought, and see if you can distribute the weight evenly. Let's flip the right palm up and take the bicep to the ear. And then we'll take the right forearm to the right thigh, left arm up and over, and then we'll take it up and over again, turning and toning in towards the waist, and we'll take it back down, forearm to thigh. We'll do one more here, and take it all the way up and over, and exhale, forearm to thigh. Leave your left arm up, and then we're going to just power up for 2 breaths, hug everything in, take your right palm almost to the floor, but it's not really touching the floor. Take the gaze up towards the sky, full power mode. One more breath, gaze down, forearm to thigh, left hand to hip, and make your way up, hands to hips. Turn your toes in, take a breath, and then take your arms out to the side, palms down. Turn your left toes forward so your heel goes straight into the center arch of your back foot. Flip your left palm up, and no, let's not do that. Let's take and bend your front knee. We are already done with our Trikonasana version for today. Right now we have Warrior Two. So we'll come down with the front knee over the front ankle, open the arms, shoulder blades down onto the back. Flip your left palm up and take your bicep to the ear, long side body into the whole side of the waist. Forearm to thigh, sweep your right arm up, tailbone hugs down towards the inner heel, belly button lifts, take it up and back. We'll have one more after this, and then we'll take the forearm to the thigh, take your right arm up and over, and then exhale, take it all the way up and up, maybe there's a slight back, and then we'll take the forearm to thigh and right arm up, push into the right foot, and the right arm comes over the ear, extended side angle, Parsvakonasana. Hug into all that you have, hug it into the center, into the bones, and then separate the hands, power up the legs, left fingers almost touching the mat, but not really. We're just using the full power into our legs, into the core. One more breath, and then forearm to thigh, hand to hip, and then we'll straighten and come out of that. Hug the feet towards the midline, isometrically bringing it all the way in, lifting all the way up, and exhale, hinge and fold. Take your peace fingers around your big toes. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold, elbows to the side, shoulders and ears have space. Top of the head towards the floor, certainly does not have to be on the floor. One more breath, right here. And then gently extend the arms, hands to the floor, and then we'll make our way to downward facing dog. Turn your right foot, step the feet back, and come to your downward facing dog, please. One more breath right here. Step your right foot between your hands. Take your left knee down onto the floor, hands to the right quad. One more twist, and then we're going to end up down onto our back. So we'll come back to the beginning with the knee and the hip stacked above and below each other, right hand onto your right quad, sweep the left arm up to the sky, pull the belly in and knit the ribs together, elbow to knee. From there, palms together. Take one elbow up, one elbow is on the knee, and then palms towards the heart, and take the gaze up towards the sky. Pull the belly in, twist and turn into the entire waist, into the organs, into the spine. One more breath right here. And then exhale, take the gaze down. Take your right hand to your right quad, and then sweep the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, hands to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog. One breath. Step your left foot between your hands. Take your right knee down. Take your left hand to your left thigh and sweep your right arm up to the sky. Create lots of space. Pull the belly in, tailbone down. Front support, wrap it in, and then twist from there. Right elbow to the left knee. Twist and turn organs, spine, hips, palms together. See if you can take one elbow up and then one elbow by the knee, and then we'll have the hands right by the sternum. We're supporting ourselves with your right knee on the floor today. Take the gaze up towards the sky, hug the midline, squeeze the adductors together. Find all layers and buffer them in so that you can organically extend out and clear and clean the layers. One more breath. And then exhale, gaze down. Take your left hand to your quad, right arm up to the sky, left arm up, and then exhale, hands to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come down onto your knees, and we're going to dig in to the upper back. So we have kind of really opened up from the bottom all the way up through the spine, shoulders. Let's take the yoga mat and scrunch it up with the hands. Hold on to it. Take your feet on each side of your mat, inside the mat. Arms are straight. One shoulder push up, but we're pushing it down instead of up. And then bending the knees and bringing your thighs and your belly towards each other, and then the gaze comes right between the hands, and we're digging into that upper back. With the gaze between the hands, there should be a nice little feedback into the upper back, and then from there, maybe sinking the heels towards the floor. And then from there, hands to the floor for our normal, so to speak, down dog, if there ever was a normal down dog. You can walk your feet in, press the palms, pull the belly button, take a little walkabout over to the hands. And fold, Uttanasana, forward fold. Release the neck, the shoulders, and then come down onto the seat. We're going to take our hands around the legs, and even before we go down, just kind of make sure that you have your blocks close by for our bridges. So I'm just going to put my blocks right over there. Hands onto the IT band or the hamstrings, and then we're just going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and easy, all the way down. And coming on to our back and enjoying a nice supine form. Take a block underneath your sacrum. You can come up on your toes, lift your hips, and take the block under your sacrum. You can take it the thicker way and just letting your sacrum descend down onto the block and enjoy. And maybe that feels great for your spine. If you are craving a little bit more, you can turn your block sideways. It's a little bit less support for the sacrum. You can turn your block the other way as well. And come into Sachibanda Sarvangasana. It stretches out not only the spine, but the belly, the hamstring, the quads, the hip flexors. Hamstrings gets to help to anchor us down. You can take your hands around the yoga mat, just like we did in the opposite version in down dog. And then we have a nice traction and opening shoulders, and we feel centered on the mat, and we feel centered on the block most of all. And we'll stay right here for a moment and enjoy. Getting that nice, reaping the nice benefit of stretching the front body with the block support. Stay one more breath, and then coming up onto the toes and releasing the hands, lifting our sacrum off the block and coming down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, and taking our hands on top of the quads and pressing the quads away from the lower back. And creating some good space for the lower back by untying knots, creating space by putting a little extra gentle pressure onto the femurs, and then gently from there releasing that and taking the knees in towards the chest and finding the hands inside the arms and around the feet. And we are moving to happy baby. Sometimes this feels like it's plenty if this is the beginning of your happy baby journey, but if it feels comfortable, you might take your feet up towards the sky and flex your feet and take your knees towards your shoulders and getting some external rotation, maybe some release for the back, maybe some more opening, maybe just a different adjustment in towards the whole spine. The key is to keep the sacrum down, shoulder blades down, and eventually the lower back will start to lift off of the spine because the core is engaged. And then we have that natural elongated version of our spine. And getting some good adductor stretch and tone in, and getting some pressure on ankles and knees, hamstring stretch, adductor stretch, external rotation for the hips. One more breath, and then gently taking our knees in towards the chest, and then we're going to roll all the way up and extend the legs forward and hands to the side. And we have found ourselves into Dandasana, staff pose, sitting onto our sit bones, taking a breath. From here, we're going to take our right foot in towards the left adductors. So it looks like this. We'll face each other. We'll be right here. And I have a little tug in my right knee. I'm going to take a pillow underneath my knee so it's nice and relaxed. Arms up towards the sky. Bring the ribs in and come forward with your hands somewhere around your yoga mat, maybe on the leg, maybe on each side of the foot. And elongate your spine, and then exhale, hinge and fold, and expand your back body, elbows out to the side. One more breath here for Jonnu Shivasana, head to knee pose. And gently bringing yourself up to straight back and come to seated. Switch to the second side. Jonnu is the knee and Shirsha is the head. Jonnu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Take your arms up, bring your ribs in, tailbone down, hinge and fold, hands on your mat, hands on your leg, hands on each side of the foot. Inhale, long spine, and then exhale, elbows out to the side, top of the head, towards the knee, or just simply relax over your outstretched leg. We are expanding the back body, giving the kidneys some good room. We are releasing the back. We are resetting the hips. Closing our practice with a forward bend. One more breath here. And then gently extend the arms, the spine. Make your way back up to seated. Take your legs forward for Uttanasana, stretching the whole back body. You can take your blocks on each side and take your forearms on your blocks or your hands on your blocks. You can build the blocks up however you'd like to. And just kind of hang out to wherever you feel like it's comfortable for your back body, for your calves, for your hamstrings, for your lower back. Maybe the peace fingers comes and takes the big toes. Inhale, long spine. And then exhale, elbows out to the side. Elongate the spine by kind of thriving for the top of the head towards the big toes. And at the same time, maybe the head from there also starts to go down towards the legs. And we're just having a nice, comfortable time here, enjoying folding forward, closing our practice, releasing our spine. If you hug your heels down and spread your toes, you'll feel more into your calves and really into the entire backside of the legs. We'll stay for one more breath. And then gently extending, coming up to a seat and crossing the legs and closing our practice together by sending out an offering of peace to all beings everywhere with Lokah, Samastah, Sukhino, Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You can save it for yourself, or you can send it out to all of those around you and in all realms, in all places. Animals, humans, anyone that you think could use a little extra offering of peace from your heart to their heart. So if you'd like to join me, there should be a little text below where you can follow along. We'll bring our palms together and take all of the energies that we stirred up, all that juiciness, and settle it into all the places in our body where we need it. And for all the extra energy, we'll send it out into this offering of this peace chant. Close your eyes, sit nice and tall. Take a comfortable inhale. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take your hands back up onto our knees, palms facing up. Close our practice by sitting together, savoring all the positive, juicy energies that we practiced for and with. For ourselves and for all of those around us. And slowly bring yourself back. And I highly recommend to lay down on your back for Shivasana Bring a blanket over, bring a pillow, make it comfortable. Take a few minutes to rest your body and let everything assimilate into its right place. I thank you so much for joining me for this session of a weekly yoga basic flow. And I look forward to seeing you in many more of these. They are going to come every week, and there's going to be different versions of them. We started with a basic flow today. And please also visit my playlist library up on the bar. You can find all my 250 and more videos up there and organized in different categories. So thank you so much and have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.